Now just a little bit of orangey red.
Great. There we are. We are live now.
Okay, good.
So you can get yourself started.
That's why we
Yay.
Yeah, because all those weird timing things.
But see, did you used to come here when Renee was here, the black woman?
I did.
She was so good.
Yeah.
But she would give me 19-page things, and she would sing them, and turn pages back. Nobody gave me anything as huge as her, except for Colette. Colette every now and then gives me some monster show.
So you're going to play this from the music instead of
I am, yeah. I tried. What it was is I had that pages in wrong, so as soon as I changed the pages over to where I get two at first instead of just one, all of a sudden I could do it. So I don't think it'd be any easier. But this song is just not intuitive at all.
Yeah, you really got to. I have to count.
Pay attention.
I have to count. That's why I needed the beats. Well, there's Phil.
He wants a parade.
Okay, but I guess we're not doing it.
So they kind of want to go over.
Testing. Testing. Testing, Donna. Can you get it? Very good. Sounds good.
Physical needs, am I right?
Test. Ooh, hello. That was very loud. Test. 1, 2. Can you hear me? I'll speak in my gentle voice.
I will not.
So don't forget, after the talk, straight into the second music. Yeah.
I've remembered that every day since
Otherwise,
last time I did
you'll have
this.
musicians like gunning for you.
Call me up to make an announcement about, during the announcement, she's going to call me up and I'll say something about the election board.
In the second part, yeah.
I think I'll do the other announcements first.
Yes, yes, yes.
Last announcement, and then invite you up.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just wondering too whether when are you announcing the chili cook-off?
Yes.
So
Basically, Val's notes just said we're going to announce
yeah,
it. So yes.
grab me up to say something about the chili because I'm going to say about
Yes.
the chili and
Good.
cook-off and the concert all
Thank
like
you.
Eat, Love, Pray.
Thanks,
all
James.
into one.
Okay.
So say, Phil, have you got something to say about that? And I'll come up and say something. Yeah.
Very good.
That'll be your end.
Yes.
I'll give it another little boost.
Yes. Okay, good.
And if Mark Fleischer's here, I'll grab him as well.
Yes.
Also, there's a note for Leah here from Gerry. This will be the back end too. Gerry would like you to draw
Okay. Okay.
this part of the kaleidoscope thing that he's doing that.
Okay, that's Wednesday, and I wonder what specifically you would.
Yeah, it's a bit vague.
Just like the old David Bowen song. Change. Yeah. Change it, right?
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening up in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Chuck Fulner. I serve on the Board of Trustees here at Unity of Louisville, and it is my honor to welcome all of you to today's celebration of spirit. That welcome includes the people who are with us here in the sanctuary, those of you who may be watching online through the magic of the internet, and those who might hear this service this coming Tuesday when the podcast is put up on our website, and that includes you, Carla Mack, wherever you are. It is our tradition in Unity to begin in prayer, and I'll be able to do that as soon as I put my glasses on. This morning's prayer is an adaptation of a poem by Ella Wheeler Wilcox that appears in the book Discover the Power Within You by Eric Butterworth. Those whose hearts are full of tenderness and truth, who love mankind more than themselves, and cannot find room in their hearts to hate, may be another Christ. We all may be the saviors of the world if we believe in the divinity that dwells in us and worship it, and if we nail our grosser selves, our tempers, our greeds, and our unworthy aims upon the cross. When we give love to all, when we pay kindness for unkindness, when we give smiles for frowns, when we lend new courage for each fainting heart, and when we strengthen hope and scatter joy abroad, then each of us, too, is a Redeemer, a Son of God. And so it is. Amen. Okay. These Sunday morning services don't just pop up with a few people getting up here on the platform. There are many people who are involved in that process. Our January team of ushers and greeters are on duty today. Our oneness blessers and prayer chaplains will be available for individual consultations here in the sanctuary after the service. Urith will be doing today's daily word, and Ramasi, will be doing today's meditation. Our musical team includes the wonderful pianist Judy Paulsmeyer, our song leader Debbie Reinhardt-Brocious, who is ably assisted by our music leader Phil Crother. Our special music is today provided by the fabulous sisters Essenpries, Janet and Lisa. And whenever they're here, it is truly, truly special. part of the applause from the musician corps is that I actually pronounced their last name correctly this time. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. So we've done the prayer, we've done the greetings. So Phil, what are we going to start with?
Please stand and join us in singing our opening song, It's in Every One of Us. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, you and I. It's in every one of us to be free. Find yourself, open your heart and see. We can all know everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us, here and now. It's in every one of us to be kind. Share your love, leave all your fears behind. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, you and I. It's in every one of us, you and I.
Before we move on in our service, I am privileged to announce that today's talk, Meeting Changes in Life with Prayer, will be delivered by our master teacher and good friend, Gerry Boylan. You may be seated. You're very good at following directions, by the way. The most important words that we always say from this platform are, whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. One of the ways we implement that is to greet our first-time visitors. So if you are joining us this morning for the very first time, if you would please raise your right hand as I am raising mine. We have one here. Two over there, Dolores. What we're giving you is a packet of information about the Unity movement in general and Unity of Louisville in particular, and a candle. When you light that candle, please remember that we recognize the Christ Spirit that lives inside each and every one of us, including you. Let's take time to greet our first-time visitors. Now for the fastest 2 minutes in sports, at least that's what it says on my schedule. We're going to take time to greet each other. Please remember that even though we are a hugging conversation, not everyone likes to be hugged. So if someone puts out their hand to be shook or their fist to be bumped, please respond in kind. Otherwise, let's just hug each other.
find yourself, open your heart and sing. We can all know everything without ever knowing how. It's in every one of us, here and now. It's in every one of us to be kind. Share your love, leave all your fears behind. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, you and I. It's in every one of us, you and I.
Please be seated again. Thank you, Phil, Deb, Janet. That was gorgeous. James, you ready? Very good. In Unity, we believe in the power of affirmative prayer. Those truths that we know, if we want them to be present in our lives, we simply pray for them in an affirmative form. We have two this morning. The first is a seasonal celebration. If you would please join in me in reading it. Celebrating one humanity, honoring the tradition of many paths to God. Let's do that a second time, James, just for the sheer heck of it. Celebrating one humanity, honoring many paths to God. And we follow all of those. Our generosity affirmation, let's do this with zeal and enthusiasm. I am an exuberant, joyful expression of spirit, participating fully in the principle of generosity. We're about to enter our more meditative portion of today's service as Deb sings along the Lord's Prayer, after which we will have a moment of silence as our oneness blessers and others bless the congregation.
Our Creator, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory
And so it is. Sunday, January 12th, 2020. Inner peace. Inner peace brings me strength, calm, and clarity. Like the soft glow of a candle, God's peace shines forth from the center of my being. This peace is part of my spiritual inheritance, always ready to be called into expression, no matter what is happening around me. Divine peace comes through me rather than to me, as I remember that I am God's living expression, created in God's image and likeness. To lay hold of God's peace, I need only to be willing to let go of anything that blocks it. My willingness allows my power of elimination to work through me as I release all thoughts of limitation, unforgiveness, lack, and fear. My energy continues to grow more and more peaceful and focused as I release each of my limiting thoughts. I become centered in the pure peace of God. Mark 4:39. He woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." Today's daily word, inner peace.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
We come to that time in our service where we allow ourselves to anchor and rest and let go and surrender into that feeling of being so blessed, of that feeling of inner peace. If you haven't already, I invite you to close your outer eyes and take a deep breath, sinking into a feeling of being present in this now moment. And take another breath and go deeper. And with each breath, deeper still into that presence. We live, we move, we breathe, we have our being in that presence. If any thought comes to mind during this time, we gently let it go and come back to this surrender, this alignment. We give over any person on our heart, any situation, any need to this divine presence, this divine intelligence. And we make room in our minds and hearts for healing, for perfect outworking, for upliftment. And with each breath, we open more and more and allow more and more. The Holy Spirit is always at work, is always present, knows the right and perfect ways in all of our affairs. So in this moment, we allow ourselves to rest in this knowing and in this prayer and in this blessing. As you begin to come back to an awareness of your body, an awareness of the seat, an awareness of the persons around you, we bring back with us this truth, this knowing, an awareness of this presence and this power. And whenever you're ready, you can wiggle your feet or move your body and come fully back and open your eyes. And so it is.
I know what makes me comfortable, and I know what makes me tick. And when I need to get my way, I know how to pour it on thick. Cream and sugar in my coffee, right away when I awake. I face the day and pray to God I won't make the same mistakes. Oh, the rest is out of my hands. I will learn to let go what I cannot change. I will learn to forgive what I cannot change. I will learn to love what I cannot change. But I will change, Yeah, I will change whenever I can. Yeah, I don't know my father or my mother well enough. It seems like every time we talk, we can't get past the little stuff. The pain is self-inflicted. I know it's not good for my health, but it's easier to please the world than it is to please myself. Oh, the rest is out of my hands. I will learn to let go what I cannot change. I will learn to forgive what I cannot change. I will learn to love what I cannot change. But I will change, yeah, I will change whenever I can. Right now I can't care about how everyone else will feel. I have enough hurt of my own to heal. I will learn to let go what I cannot change. I will learn to forgive what I cannot change. I will learn to let go what I cannot change. I will learn to forgive what I cannot change. I will learn to love what I cannot change. But I will change, yeah, I will change whenever I can.
Thank you. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be free of suffering. And may all beings remember who they are. Good morning. That's really all I need to say. You're probably familiar with my favorite commercial on TV. Could have had a V8. I could have prayed about it. It seems so simple. And yet I wonder how many times, or I look at how many times I get caught up in whatever is going on in my life, and I'm spending so much time trying to figure out how to fix it, how to change it. This has come along, well, I need to fix that, I need to do this, I need to do that. I could have prayed about it. It's fascinating for me probably for you as well, that here we are on this spiritual path that we've created. And sometimes the last thing I think about doing is becoming spiritually involved in the solution rather than getting all wrapped up in the problem. The trouble with prayer is, that's kind of a great way to begin a talk on prayer, isn't it? The trouble with prayer is, the trouble with prayer is that most of us, and I certainly include myself in this, are sometimes continually stuck in an old image or an old idea of what prayer is about. My first definition of prayer came about when I studied the Baltimore Catechism, you know, that blue book that made the rounds in Catholic schools years and years ago. And it was called prayer is talking to God. Well, that's very nice for a 5 or a 6-year-old. But what it does is, and this image has become so ingrained in me that I still fall back on it unconsciously sometimes, is that God's up there and I'm down here. And that somehow or another the essence of our prayer begins with that sense of separation, which is really a terrible misnomer and not the truth at all. And yet, if I remain somewhat unconscious or unaware, I find myself falling back into that same sense of separation. God up there, me down here. It's like that wonderful couple of lines from the movie Bruce Almighty, where Jim Gerry is talking to Morgan Freeman, who is playing God. And he said, "How come I keep missing you all the time?" And Morgan Freeman says, "You keep looking up." Oh, I keep looking at separation. So that when the Unity teacher Emily Cady said, "God, I don't know the answer, you do," she wasn't saying that there's some outside force there that has the answer for me. What she was suggesting in her prayer was, the answer is already inside of me. I am just so identified with this personality self and this ego consciousness that's all wrapped up in the problem that I can't hear the truth. So I have to be quiet enough to hear it, to listen to it. So, you know, God, I don't know the answer, you do, is not out there someplace, it's right here. My personality self, my ego conscious doesn't know the answer, but my divine self does. Let me be open to that as being my truth. So that when one of my favorite prayers is from the rock opera Tommy, where the main character says, hauntingly from his heart, "See me, feel me, touch me, heal me." How beautiful. How marvelously compact and how beautiful that see me, feel me, touch me, heal me. Guide me, love me. I add a couple of words to that one. But that's not looking for something outside here. Let me be in touch with the source of love, of healing, of light, of grace, of peace, or whatever you want to call it, that is already inside of me. Let me touch that, because what I'm saying is, I have gotten so wrapped up in my ego, I've gotten so wrapped up in my personality self, that I have lost my touch with the divine. The divine that is within me already. The divine which is part of me already. And that's not out of a sense of judgment or out of a sense of doing something wrong. I will say, I could have had a V8, I could have prayed about it. I will fall back into forgetfulness. That's just part of my trip. Might not be part of yours, but it's part of mine. And falling back into forgetfulness is not a bad thing, it's not a wrong thing, it's not I'm doing something wrong. I've just gotten so wrapped up in my humanity, or what I think is the right answer, that I've lost track of what really is the right answer. And so when I wake up again, instead of beating myself, instead of punishing myself up for falling asleep or forgetting to have a V8, I say, "Oh, thank you, it's still here. still have a choice. And now my choice is being informed or being energized by my sense of, I know what it's like now to miss the connection between myself and the divine. And when I connect to that again, it's almost like being hugged. It's almost like being loved. It's almost like realizing that I am loved and saying, oh. The love didn't disappear even though I forgot about it. It was still there. What do you think when I forgot that I somehow or another, when I thought I was separate from unconditional love, that unconditional love stopped? Still there. I just didn't know it. Did I ever stop being loved? Of course not. So when my prayer, one of my favorites is, Lord, that I may see. Lord, that I may see beyond my limited viewpoint. Lord, that I may see beyond my seeing of myself as being helpless or lost or alone or afraid. All of those things, I have all of those attributes. I'm participating in those. Those are all part of my human nature. I'm not denying them or throwing them away or saying they don't exist. But what I am saying in my prayer is, Lord, help me to see myself. Help me to see myself beyond those things. Help me to know the truth of who I am beyond my fear, beyond my limitation, beyond my sense of lack, beyond my sense of unlovability. Help me to see beyond, because I know that I can see beyond that, because the fact that I'm still here. If I couldn't see beyond that, I would have been gone a long time ago. So would you. Help me to see beyond the limitations that I've created for myself, the walls that I've built around myself, the barriers that I've created that prevent me from being loved unconditionally, or prevent me from perceiving myself as being loved unconditionally. Help me to see beyond that. Help me to go beyond that. Jesus was on his way to work a miracle. I think it was a Roman centurion or somebody had to do with the synagogue, a leader of the people. And the man said, you don't even have to come to my home. Just say the word and my servant shall be healed. And Jesus said, do you believe I can do this? And he replied something that I thought and continue to think is so, so absolutely beautiful. He said, Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. Yeah, I do believe, I believe, but. And that is so beautifully human and so beautifully powerful. And what Jesus said is, thank you, that's fine, that's enough. Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. Here's where I'm at. I'm not perfectly in alignment. I want to know, I want to be perfectly in the truth of your love, but I don't perceive myself as being there yet. That's enough. Your honesty and your love. Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. I'm there most of the time. Oh, I've got this one sewn up. What's next? No. Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. You know when that's going to show up? 5 minutes from now. Or 30 seconds from there. Shows up when I'm standing up here. Oh, really? Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. Unity's prayer of light is a great example of the essence of prayer. The light of God surrounds us. Love of God enfolds us, etc. Now, we kind of rattle that one on. Light of God surrounds us, love of God, kettle of fish, all right? But if you stopped with just that first line, the light of God surrounds us. Not just us sitting here, not just us as members of unity, Not just us as people in this particular city or this particular, us, everybody. Oh. Exactly. Even more than that. All beings, may all beings be at peace. The light of God surrounds us. All, you know, in years ago, I was reading something about the early Christian mystics, and some of them would go into throes of ecstasy with the first line of the Lord's Prayer. They would say, "Our Father," and they would get no further than that. Because they would be uplifted out of their human consciousness, because just that whole sense of our Father, everyone, we're all, as Ram Dass said so wonderfully, we're all walking one another home, okay? We're all united in this. There's a school in Buddhism called the Mahayana, which is sometimes translated as being the great vessel or the big boat. And the philosophy behind this is that the boat doesn't leave until everybody's on it. In some ways, there's no sense of just personal enlightenment. Either we all get it or none of us get it. And so when you're on the boat and you invite everybody else on, you don't decide who you can sit next to, because whoever sits next, that's just it. Everybody's on board, or nobody is. The light of God surrounds us. Everybody. Love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. Presence of God watches over us. Wherever God is, I am. Wherever I am, God is. What is so powerful about that is that it is an affirmation of a truth that already exists. It's not asking for something. Well, I need a new Nikon camera. Oh, please. You know, I don't know about you, but I can need something that I didn't know existed 30 seconds ago. You know, Facebook has gotten really good at having little advertisements, and know exactly what you're interested in. Okay? You know, the cookies, the breadcrumbs are all over the place, okay? They've led, so, you know, I press this button and all of a sudden there's a Martin guitar that I didn't know existed before. Ooh, gotta have that one. I won't be complete without that. Oh God, please send me. I'll be good. I'll do what you want me to do, please. So here I am, hooked again, and again, I'm not denying that wonderful piece of my human nature. I will become hooked probably until I'm 6 feet under, right? Until there's a part of me that doesn't need to be hooked anymore. But that's okay. When I recognize that, I'd say, oh, what got me there? I started to think I was someone who couldn't be someone unless I had that thing out there someplace. Thank you for reminding me that's not who I am. And so I take a little bit of a step back from that and recognize that prayer is an affirmation of what already exists. I don't deny my human needs and asking for some things that I want or some things that I desire. That's perfectly okay. And you might or might not get them. We've all found that out. Most of the time, though, when I wind up getting something that I've been praying for, maybe for years, once I get it, I don't need it anymore. Some things have showed up in my life and said, you know, I really wanted that 5 years ago. And here it is, and I go, eh. Personality, self, and the ego consciousness is rather fickle, and they will remain that way. But what I've discovered is, as I wrestled with this one, is prayer is the conscious alignment with the creative energy of the divine within us. Prayer is the conscious alignment with the divine creative energy that is already within us. Because, as A Course in Miracles points out, we're creating all the time. We're either creating consciously or we're creating by default. Now, when I'm not aware, when I'm asleep, when I'm not consciously aligned to the divine within me, I'm still creating all the time. It's just I'm not conscious of it. So I don't know about you, but when I let my mind loose to go wherever it wants to, it's usually going to go to fear, it's going to go to lack, it's going to go to things that aren't there, things that I need, things that are bad about me, things that fall into judgment. I can make a list. Guaranteed. So unless I move it into conscious alignment with the truth of who I am, it's going to go wandering around all of these other pathways that it's used to wandering around in. And I'm not going to say that's okay or not okay. I'm not making a judgment about that one. I'm just in the realization of, you can let the puppy, right, poop all over the house if you want to, or you can train it to poop on the papers. Jack Kornfield makes this whole image of meditation. He says it's like puppy training. Well, our mind is sort of like puppy training. You can let it do whatever it wants to do, or you can keep bringing it back and saying, okay, we're going to do it on the papers right now, and besides that, this puppy is not who you are. You are more than that. Your mind might be all over the place, but that's not who you are. Prayer is aligning your creative energy with the creative power of the divine that already exists inside you. Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. The way Emmett Fox put it was the golden key. Whenever you are in trouble, whenever you are in doubt, whenever you have a problem going on in your life, instead of focusing on the problem, focus on God. Again, not as an outside source or as an outside energy, but focus on the divine love that already exists inside you. The solution exists not in figuring out how to do this or what to do this. The solution exists in the divine love that you already are. And 99 times out of 100, you will find the solution to your problem or the solution to your difficulty comes about when you embrace it as being a teacher. Not trying to figure out where it came from, not trying to figure out what you did wrong to make that happen, but when you embrace it as being a teacher that enters into your life and asking it, opening to it. What did you come here to teach me? It could be as simple as a spilt cup of coffee. What did you come here to teach me besides the law of gravity? You might have come here to teach me to be patient, to be loving, to realize that you don't just clean the kitchen floor once and it's done. You might have to do it more than once. Or just to teach you your life doesn't revolve around a cup of coffee. Because it did. Why did I get so upset? Because I dropped it. And so here we are. Wherever two or more are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. You're praying right now. You can't not be praying. Oh, well, my mind wandered off 30 seconds ago and I was thinking about this. So what? Did you invite it back again? Not because you have to, not because you need to, not because you should do. Notice the quiet. Notice that that is always with you. That there is so much of our life, even as human beings, that nothing really has to be done except be. Being in alignment with the creative truth of the divine within me. And if I am aware of that, I can be aware of that in you. I'm not praying for you. In a way, I'm praying to you. Thank you for being my teacher. When Thomas Merton had his wonderful experience in downtown Louisville and saw everybody as beings of light, he said, and that didn't last forever. They became bodies again. But quite soon after that, he asked himself the question, he said, what would it be like if we were to see one another like that all the time? And he came up with a marvelous answer. He said, the only problem would be that we would keep falling down worshiping one another. In other words, we would be in constant prayer of recognizing ourselves and being perfect alignment with the divine within us, as well as others being in perfect alignment with the divine within them. And to know that even if there's somebody comes along whose personality self I can't stand, that the essence of their being, even if I can't touch it, even if I can't see it or feel it, that the essence of their being is still in perfect alignment with the divine truth of who they are. And so we rest with this morning. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be free of suffering. And may all beings remember who they are. Have a wonderful week. Thank you.
So much pushing and pulling, so much fighting and straining, so much laboring against waves and wind. I am tired, my arms are weary, my back is aching, eyes are bleary. I think I'm finally ready to give in. I have struggled, I have cried, I have screamed inside about the kind of life I've tried to lead. Well, right now I think it's time, for the very first time, to lay down my body and mind and just be. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along just so. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. Down the block or to the moon, round the world or just to my room, I can't say where I'm supposed to end up. I've resisted for so long, as if I could do no wrong, and it's never been quite good enough. It's a funny thing, I guess, a prideful human saying yes without knowing what I'm agreeing to. But there's a simple fact I find, the decision's never been mine. All I'll ever do is what I'm meant to do. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along just so. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. It's a scary thing for sure to lay down my oars, quit pretending that I've ever been in charge. But it's scarier still to spend my strength and will and never even have a peaceful heart. So here goes the toughest thing. Ironic, don't you think, that it's so hard and so easy all at once? It's not laziness, it's just the deepest kind of trust that I'm okay when all is said and done. I'm okay when all is said and done. If I stop steering my boat, does it sink? Oh no, current carries it along just so. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be alright. Current carry me along just so. If I stop steering my life, I'm gonna be alright. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. I'll just go where the ocean says to go. I'll just go where the ocean says to go.
Big thank you to the Essenpries sisters and for Gerry today. That was lovely, ladies. Thank you all for sharing your time and your treasures with us today. Now as our ushers come forward, it is time for the blessing of our offering. So if you have a gift, please take it in your hand and infuse it with your love as we say our prosperity proclamation together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you for those gifts, and now for our prosperity affirmation together. We are stewards of divine abundance. We give and receive with gratitude. We'll have a few quick announcements. I'm going to go ahead and invite Phil and Chuck up as they will be joining me. The first announcement is beginning this Thursday, the 16th. Reverend Valerie will be hosting a Unity Foundation class. This is a great class, whether you've been coming here for a long time or you're relatively new. It's just a great way to kind of get back to the basics of some of the Unity principles and some of what this movement is built on. So that will be starting this Thursday, the 16th, until February 20th from 6:30 to 8:30. Reverend Valerie will be facilitating the course for a love offering. The second announcement, this Wednesday, January 15th, we will continue our Kaleidoscope Spirituality series. At 5:30, there will be prayer and meditation. At 6 o'clock, there will be a light meal provided. And then the main event this week at 7 o'clock is an evening with Gerry Boylan. And I asked him for some details on that, but he says it's a surprise. So you'll have to show up and see what he has to offer. I'm going to pass the mic over here to Phil.
I guess I get it first. Next Sunday is a big Sunday here at Unity. It is our 8th annual chili cook-off, but we've got more going on than just the chili cook-off, which Phil will fill you in a little bit. If you haven't been to the chili cook-off before, we have sign-up sheets downstairs for those who would like to bring their own chili. We do vote on the best chili, both adult and youth. There'll be tickets available that you can purchase and put those tickets in the bags that'll be in front of the person's chili, and you can do that. We also have, and you can also use cash. You can just put cash in. We also have the best chili decoration, you might say, chili setup, and we also have the best table decoration, and we have awards for each of those. And the chili, the awards will be both for youth and adult. I think I mentioned that. But it's a great event. If you're not bringing your own chili, at least show up and eat the chili. So, and with that, we have a chili cook-off, but we also have something else going on here. So I'll turn it over to Phil.
We got together and thought we'd make it a joint event between the chili cook-off and the music department. So we're making it kind of our own Eat, Love, Pray. Only this is church chili concert. And you've seen the posters for the chili and the posters for this. You know, you've seen Kim and John D'Amato. They've been here under different names as Untethered Soul, and they've been here as July. But they finally settled on a name that makes sense, which is their own name, John and Kim D'Amato. And they're going to be supplying the music for the concert, and I'll be playing with them. And also they have a double bass player, Jacob Reber, who's very well known around town, and Emily Miller on violin. So, you know, come and eat, love, pray, chili, church chili and concert with us next week.
Just wanted to mention that the funds that we raised from the chili cook-off, and we raised a lot last year, so I'm looking forward to y'all beating that mark. But the funds go to the general fund and also to the youth program. So just wanted to let you know where those funds are going.
And it says on the poster, but after the chili, the concert's back up here at 1:45 or thereabouts. Thank you.
Thank you. I would urge everyone to enter their chili. You'll be competing for second place, but there it is. Yeah, we should. I'll be stuffing my ballot box quite a bit. So here's the deal. We have our annual meeting is coming up in March, and it is at our annual meeting that we elect new officers. We have 4 officers whose term of office will be expiring at that meeting. 2 of them are 3-year terms. My term will be expiring, as will William Driscoll's. And we have 2 alternate members, board members, who've been serving with us for this last year, Mark Helm and Leah Zeller. So Leah has done a marvelous job, as has Mark. So we're looking to rejuvenate the board and add new people. I think William is going to run for another term. He's eligible for that, as I am, and I probably will run again because people won't let me quit. All that said, we do want to have as many people come forward and run for office as possible, because no matter where you come in the balloting, we will put you to work at some way. And it's a great way to learn about what's going on in the church, and it's a great way to pay things forward. So if you have an interest, John, would you please stand up? Would you identify yourself to John Russell downstairs after this, or later on in the upcoming weeks? There is a packet of information that you need to fill out about yourself. And I'm going to fill one out for you, Mark. Don't worry about it. So that you'll be ready to vote when we're doing this in the middle of March. It's very important, so I would urge you to give prayerful consideration to stepping forward and becoming a leader in our church, in our congregation, and in our movement. So thank you very much.
Immediately following the service, our prayer chaplains will be in the back corner of the sanctuary if you would like someone to pray with you. We will also have our oneness blessers up front here. If you would like to receive a blessing, please feel free to join us after the service for that. And now for our prayer for protection, followed by our peace song. We are going to say this enthusiastically today, if not for yourself, for Gerry. Together. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
Namaste, y'all.